How to Become a Millionaire by Earl Shove. I want to take a few moments and cover some methods that have assisted me in acquiring things in my life. There are basic fundamental laws that operate in this world of ours. Some people are aware of them, some people are not aware of them, but they are using them. And sometimes we wonder why certain things happen to us. We acquire certain things, and then over a period of time, it seems like we live in stagnation. Nothing happens. Nothing takes place. Everything seems to be at a standstill. There are basic laws in this universe that we are governed by, and will work for you if you know how to apply them. And I would like to cover a couple of these laws that will assist you in knowing why these things happen. For example, everybody is aware of the law of gravitation. Now, we don't know how it works, but we know it works. It works for everybody. It doesn't matter whether you are a saint or whether you are the opposite of a saint. If you jumped off a 20-story building and you are a saint, and you land on a concrete sidewalk, you're going to be an unhealthy saint. If you happen to be a crook and you do the same thing happens to you. So, basically, it doesn't matter if you are good or bad. If you use the law of gravity wrong, you are going to suffer. The law of electricity works for all of us. If we use it properly, we can light our homes by screwing a light bulb into a socket. If we stick our finger into it, then we get a shock. You can burn your house down with electricity, or you can light your home with it. You can cook with it. You can use refrigeration, and for all the great things that electricity will do for us. You do not have to be an electrical-minded person. You do not have to be a genius to do it. A child 3 years old can push a button and turn the lights on. And one of the greatest electrical engineers in the world, when he pushes that button, he can turn the lights on too. So basically, it does not matter. It will work for you. We have laws of success. We have laws of poverty. We have laws of lack, laws of prosperity. We have laws of hate. We have laws of love. We have laws of peace. All of these are basic laws. If we use them correctly, wonderful things will happen to us. If we use them wrong, then we get ourselves in trouble. I have read many books on setting positive goals in life. They all ask you to follow the different steps, laws, rules. Now, one of these things that has always bothered me is that you set 10 goals and end up with 2. You lose out on 8. So it is not like the law of gravity because it does not work every time. And one of the reasons it does not work every time is that we do not use the right law. We are using part of the law, and so the law of averages will give you a percentage of your goals. That is all. You say, gee, wasn't that great? It happened to me. But whatever happened to all the other goals you had in life? I'm going to lay down a simple, basic way that you can have anything material you want to have, and you can be anything you want to be, and it's a simple, basic situation. There's absolutely no problem to it. There are scientific things that work every time if you will do it in a simple way. Now, the first thing we want to become aware of is we want to be like farmers. We're going to plant seeds, and these seeds that we plant are the seeds that we're going to reap. Now, we're all well aware that if we plant a seed of tomatoes, we're not going to get cucumbers. We're going to get tomatoes. If you plant a watermelon seed, you're not going to get a grapefruit. You're not going to get radishes. If you want radishes, folks, you're going to have to plant radish seeds. And when you plant a seed in the earth, you must plant it properly. If you do not plant it properly, you will not have the harvest. One of the major problems in our country today for the average person is that they take the time and effort to buy all the harvesting equipment, but they do not understand the planting and the cultivating. We want to reap a harvest, but we do not want to take the time to plant, and we do not want to take the time to cultivate. The planting of the seed in the earth is basically and absolutely the same process that you use in the mental world. We are born with a conscious mind and a subconscious mind. We are the only animal in the kingdom that has both the conscious and the subconscious mind. A mind that can decide any time in life where we want to go or what we want or don't want. We can decide with this accomplished mind of ours if we want to do a thing or if we don't want to do a thing. We can decide if we want to eat or if we don't want to eat. We can decide if we want to drink or if we don't want to drink. We can decide what we want in life, in a home, in an automobile, in the clothes we wear, anything that we want in this world, any type of furniture, any type of home, any type of anything. Where most people are making mistakes is that they set very general goals and then hope for the best. Now, what are your goals? Write them down. A fellow says, I want a house, a car, some furniture, I want some money. And this is the way they set their goals. Now, he has a whole group of seeds, let's say apple seeds. We had 50 different types of apple seeds, and we just grabbed any of those seeds and we throw them in the ground and they come up, and they're green apples. I wanted red ones. That's because you picked any type of an apple seed. You didn't describe it. So we must learn to define. Now, you've heard of the word visualizing. You have to learn to visualize things. And when you visualize something, this is the thing that's going to come into your life, if the visualization is strong enough. Now, we're always visualizing things in our life, but the tendency is to visualize negative situations. The reason that we're visualizing negative situations in our life is because we're living in a negative world. So if I say, Joe, how are you feeling today? And he says, good, fine. And I ask him the next day how he feels, and he says, I feel terrible. I've got a pain in my stomach and I ache all over. And he goes into a long speech. You'd think he was an actor. He can describe a negative situation in his body so wonderfully. But when he feels good, he just says, fine. Why do people, when they feel fine, not say, I feel great, I feel wonderful, I feel so great that I expect all the wonderful things in the world to happen to me today? In other words, have a little feeling when you talk about the good things in life. People love negative things. They seem to vibrate with them. For some strange reason, they don't want things that are negative in their life, but they keep insisting on talking about them, and they can paint the most beautiful picture of loss and lack. They enjoy creating negativity. The funny thing about creating things is that we are all creators. We can create negative or positive. Nothing comes to us. Everything comes through us, from us. Everything in this world that happens to us comes from inside. And everything that you have in your life is exactly what you designed. The dress you're wearing, the coat you're wearing, the tie you're wearing, the necklace you're wearing, the home you're living in, the neighbors you've got, the friends you've got, and the leaders you've got. You are the cause of the people that you attract. What I am saying is that everything we attract is what we are. Everything you say is the thing that you created. So be careful what you create. Be careful. It's hard to visualize a thing. You see, we have to learn how to describe things. Now, I'm going to go through a description of a thing because this is very important in your life, folks. Please try to remember what I'm saying. You can change your life that quick. You can have everything wonderful in your life. You can have everything wonderful happening to you if you use these few basic little things. Now, I'm going to describe a thing, an automobile. I'll talk about an automobile because an automobile is easy to describe and people can comprehend it very quickly and very easily. I'm going to talk about a Cadillac. I'm not talking about money. It's not necessary that you have money to have a Cadillac. There are many wonderful things that can happen to you. These things can come to you from many unusual sources. If you believe in the thing I'm talking about, your income can double, triple, quadruple. The one thing that I defined in my mind was a red Cadillac convertible. I've never owned a Cadillac in my life. Now, you probably don't want a red Cadillac. I wanted one, and I defined that thing right down to a great detail. And the end result was I had a red Cadillac convertible, and my income increased to a point where it cost me nothing. This is visualizing. This is a positive attitude toward the things you want. Too many people stop their dreams because they start thinking about why they cannot have something. I say to you, do you want a new Cadillac? You say, I want one, but I can't afford it. I say, it has nothing to do with affording. I just want to know what you really want. Most people are afraid to define what they want in life. They're afraid it's going to cost them something. Well, if you're making $10,000 a month right now and you triple your income to $30,000 per month, you can have a Cadillac. You can have 2 Cadillacs. You can have 5 Cadillacs. Don't worry about the income. I'm just talking about the principle now. I'll say, Pete, what do you want? He says, a Cadillac. I say, fine, Pete. Now, this is where people make their mistakes. I say, I've got a nice 1996 beat-up model downstairs. I'll give it to you. He says, I don't want a 1996 Cadillac. I say, you just told me you wanted a Cadillac. He says, I want a new Cadillac. I say, why didn't you tell me exactly what you wanted, Pete? This is the way people set their dreams. They define them vaguely. Do you want an orange or a green one? He says, I want a red one. Now he's starting to define. And you know it's very difficult to define up here in your mind, but defining in your mind is critical. The first thing you do is get a piece of paper, and you start defining on that piece of paper anything you want. A new Cadillac, a red Cadillac, a convertible. And you can have any kind of car you want, a new red Cadillac convertible with a white top, red-white upholstery, a red floor, white wall tires, electric windows, AC unit. Don't think, how much does this cost? Simply put everything down. Describe it right down to the T. And when you get through, the perfect visualization is there now because you have described it. When you write it, you start seeing it. You get the picture in your mind by writing it down. This is how you define things that you want in this world. When you get that Cadillac completely defined in your mind, you have the seed. It hasn't planted it yet. You have picked it out. Now, the important thing is that you must release that seed. You must release it, and it must be planted. And the perfect thing in the world to plant that seed is to take the piece of paper and write "thank you" on it. That's the law of acceptance. And you would be amazed how many people in this world can't accept their goods. You'd be shocked. Thank you means you have accepted it. I'm going to have it. I know it's mine. Then you take and fold this piece of paper up with the goal on it, with this dream, with this desire, and you put it away. You put it in a drawer someplace. Don't carry it around and don't take it out and look at it anymore. When you do this, that is planting it in the subconscious mind. You've accepted, you've put it into the subconscious mind, and the thing starts to work. Now, when you put this thing away, the seed has been planted in the subconscious mind. You put it away someplace, never to be looked at again. It is like planting a seed in the earth, folks. If you go and dig that seed up 2 or 3 times a day to look at it, nothing's going to happen. This tells your subconscious mind that you have very little faith. When we plant in the subconscious mind, the dream is there. The dream starts working toward you. The Cadillac starts working toward you. And events start taking place. And the next thing you know, it's getting closer and closer to you. Now, if you take it out and you start to look at it, the thing that happens is we say, I wonder where it's coming from. This is a true showing of lack of faith. I wonder when it's coming. I wonder how it's coming. And so you're putting doubt into your law, and it will not come, folks. It will not come to you. Now, what's going to happen to the seed that you planted in the subconscious mind? You'll be driving around the street when all of a sudden there's a red Cadillac convertible with a white top. The whole thing will hit you again, and you'll see your dream, and it'll keep coming back. The reason it'll keep coming back to you is this is the only way that the universal law has of talking to you. There's no voice, it's all visualization. And when this dream comes up, what it really means is that it's on its way to you. It's right around the corner. And so you do not say how, when, where. All you do say is, thank you, because you know it's on its way. And then immediately put it back out of your mind. And how would you act if you really and truly wanted a red Cadillac convertible? If you really and truly wanted one, and it was a strong desire in your life, and you knew it was on its way, how would you act? You'd be excited, wouldn't you? You would feel good. You would say, man, it's almost here. It's almost here. You would walk taller, look taller, be happier, be positive, and act different. Wonderful things are going to happen to you. Where does the positive attitude come in at? You automatically create a positive attitude because it's the law of expectancy. Good things are going to happen. You have planted your seed properly, and they are working themselves to you. And you are automatically a positive person because all these wonderful things are going to happen. Don't just have one seed planted, plant many seeds. Any great desire you have in your life, a tangible object or intangible object, you can have anything in this world you want to have, and you can be anything in this world you want to be by using this simple process. There is absolutely no way you can keep success from your door if you will just follow this basic, simple little process that I've just described. This is the law of life, and every one of you has worked this process. Maybe you weren't completely aware of how you worked it, but think about it. That's why you only get 3 out of 8 things, or 1 out of 8, or 1 out of 10, because you didn't know exactly the process you were using. Now, you know the process, so you can deal with anything in this world. How many times have you heard people say to their children when the child says, I'm going to be president of the United States? And the father and mother will say to them, you, with your studies? You'll never make it, Junior. Now, this is a terrible seed to plant in that fertile little brain. The subconscious is putting it in the mind, telling him he can't. He's not smart enough. The child says, I'm going to be a rich man when I grow up. I'm going to have everything in this world. You say, You're going to have to learn a lot, Junior. You don't know how to handle money. You've got to learn how to use your elbow grease. Now, what do you want to tell Junior? Anytime any children come to you or to their parents, you should tell your children, Junior, you can have anything in this world. You have the ability and the intelligence to go anywhere, do anything, and have everything in this world. It's yours because you're that type of child. Let's start planting these seeds in our children. So, what are we? We are only children a little older than the other children. We are grown-up children, and we have to, at some time in life, start deciding and pinpointing things that we want in this world. And I'm not just talking about the tangible objects, I'm talking about intangible things. What would you like to be? What type of person would you like to be? Would you like to have more love in your life? Well, then, You must learn to give. You'll never have anything without giving. Everything I have, I receive back multiplied. If I have a lot of hate in my life, it's because I am giving a lot of hate out. So if I don't want hate coming in my life, I shouldn't be giving it out. If I don't want people to talk about me, I shouldn't be talking about other people. Everything that I send out, I get back multiplied. Sometimes I do not receive what I expect. It is because I didn't plant my seed properly. I did not have a true visualization. Do you know what you want in life? If I were to ask you right now, what do you really want? What is a tangible object that you want in this world? Things you can feel and touch and smell. What are the things you want in life? You know, folks, I doubt if there's 2% of the people in this room who can tell me and describe what they want. And just like that, come right out and say it. So, what is success in your life? What is it that you want? Define it. Write it down. Pinpoint every drop of that dream that you have in your mind. Define it so clearly on paper that you can completely see it in your mind. And when you get it written down, write "thank you" on it and plant that seed and put it away. And it will start to materialize and it will start coming into your life. That is anything, folks. Write down anything. Now, a man may say, I'm going to put down that I want the Statler Hotel. You know why it wouldn't work for him? I'm not saying it won't work for the fellow, but I'm saying that it won't work for the average person. Do you know why? He couldn't even imagine getting it. He can write it down, he can define it, and he can put "thank you" on it, but he can never plant that seed. And the reason he can't is because he couldn't even imagine getting the Statler Hotel. That's why. If you, on the other hand, believe that you will have what you write down, plant a seed, and you're going to have it. I told people about having a Cadillac, average people working on average jobs. I said, do you want a Cadillac? One woman said, no, no, I don't want a Cadillac. I said, well, why don't you want a Cadillac? She said, for one thing, it costs so much to operate them. You see, she doesn't want one. She isn't ready for that step yet. She must raise her consciousness. Once she does, she can buy Cadillacs like the average person buys a pair of shoes. You have the amazing ability to grow in your thinking in a negative or positive way. People say, boy, you got to be careful about people. They'll steal from you if you're not careful. Because of this terrible visualization, the people that say this are always getting taken in. So you see how we build these pictures in our mind? Expect wonderful things. Be a creator of ideas. Let's not be moons, the reflector of ideas. Let's be suns. Let us be the creator of light. Let us be the creator of the ideas because we all have a capacity. The guardian of the gate is the conscious mind. The guardian can at any time let any thought through to the subconscious mind that it wants, and any thought at any time. We are thinking human beings. We have the capacity to think of anything in this world we want to think of, but we do not have the capacity to think of nothing. Now, you try to imagine what nothing is. Try to get a thought of that. There is absolutely no way. So that means we are thinking human beings and there are thoughts flying through our mind continuously. A steady flow of thoughts all the time coming through the mind. Now, where did these thoughts come from? All of a sudden you say, gee, that thought must have come out of the clear blue sky. You didn't think of it, and it might have been something you didn't even know about. And the thought comes through you and you say, well, that's kind of ridiculous, isn't it? That couldn't happen to me. And so you throw that thought aside. And if it's a good thought, why not accept it? Stop and analyze it and accept it. Let good things happen to you. And these objects come through to you all the time. A negative thought comes through and you say, boy, that's a good and negative thought. And you start thinking about it. And pretty soon you get a frown on your face and you think about it a little more. Then you create a picture of it. And all of a sudden, you put that down in the subconscious and you think, boy, there's another bad thing that's going to happen to me. Have you ever caught yourself thinking about something you didn't want to think about and you've been thinking about it for 5 minutes? Then all of a sudden you think, what am I thinking about that nasty thing for? We do it. We all do it all the time, folks. But we can stop now, anytime we want. And we can change that thought and we can put in a good thought. If you don't want to think about oranges, change the thought and think about bananas if you want. If you don't want to think about lack, change the thought and think about prosperity. If you don't want to think about hate, think about love. If you don't want to think of anything negative, put a positive idea in your head. You know what happens. You can analyze and you can just dream about it and everything else and get all these seeds planted properly and have all these wonderful things happen. Get 20 wonderful seeds planted. Get them written down. Define them. Plant them into the subconscious mind. Put it away. And every time it comes back into the subconscious mind, and the law is saying it's on its way, you just say, thank you. Don't analyze it because it's already planted. Just say, thank you, and go on. Have 10, 15, 20, 30 of these wonderful seeds planted, and folks, you'll walk on air. You'll have miracles happen in your life. Don't be afraid to do this. If your family isn't in harmony with the wonderful things you want to have happen to you, then you don't have to show them. Plant your seeds privately and put them away privately. Plant them deep, and all these wonderful things will happen. Others will say about you, you know, I don't know what happened to him, but oh man, everything he touches turns to gold. And that's the result. That's the result of the proper planting of your seeds.